FPL world. My name is Gordon and welcome to FPL Galaxy. Now this game week, yes, going into game week number 7, I'm going to be reviewing my game week 6 team, and I'm going to show you guys the transfers that I've made. Yeah, in this particular game week, I've made 3 transfers. So I've taken 2 hits, that is -8. Yeah, unfortunately, it's one of those game weeks where I had to make a tough call. Yeah, so game week number 7 is the selection that I'm going to be doing. So for starters, this is how I did in game week 6. Those are the overall points that I've gotten up to this point, 313. Not so great, yes, but we are getting there. The overall rank rose only about 8,000. So it was one of those low scoring game weeks. I only got about 44 points. Yeah, so these 44 points was just 1 point short of the 45 points average. So the average points were 45 and the highest was 118. This just shows how low scoring this game week was. It wasn't the usual 130 something, 140 something games where people score up to such figures, but it was one of those low scoring game weeks, and I survived the red arrow. I got a teensy bit of that green arrow, and that is why I only gained about 8,000 in rank. Now going into my game week review, game week 6, this is how I did. Rare, yes, Brentford conceded twice against Leeds, and that is why he didn't get a clean sheets. So originally you were supposed to have 1 for conceding 2 goals. You were supposed to have a deduction of 1 point, which he did, but because, like I mentioned, Rare is a bonus points magnet, he managed to get 4 saves, which the 3 translated into 1 point, so he got a 2 there. So I should say this particular game week was tough for goalkeepers and defenders because only 5 teams managed to keep clean sheets, and that is Everton, Liverpool, Newcastle, Crystal Palace and Wolves. These are the only teams that managed to keep a clean sheet. So in my defense, I had those guys over there. Unfortunately, Robertson, even though Liverpool kept a clean sheet, he was brought in the second half, and that is why I'm going to remove him going into game week 7, because he stands as one of the risky players at Liverpool to be served off early when things are not going well for Liverpool. So Simikasi started before him, and he was only brought in the second half, and that's why he only got 1 point. In this particular game week, it was quite frustrating for others that owned Trent, because he was substituted at the 58th minute. Can you imagine that? 2 minutes before he was to be awarded those clean sheet points, he was substituted, as if Klopp knew that Trent was in so many people's FPL teams and he had to substitute him before the 60 mark, and that's what happened. Neko Williams, I didn't hesitate in putting him in my team because I knew he would have some attacking return, and in this particular one he only managed to have 1 attacking return. Bournemouth came with some class play which was unexpected from them. They went on to win this particular game match between Nottingham Forest, and they went on to score 3 goals rather, and so Neko Williams had a -1. He didn't manage to get clean sheet points and only got the 3 points for the assist and an extra 1 for playing above 60. Perisic also was one of the frustrating players because he only came in the second half. He and Kulusevski, who I'm going to mention soon, also had one of those rotation weeks. Cancelo was playing against Aston Villa. Aston Villa scored, so they scored through Bailey, a very brilliant goal that one was, and so he didn't get any clean sheet points. Going in my midfield, that's how I did. Luis Diaz got an extra point for the clean sheet. They played against Everton. Like I mentioned last week, Everton are not so easy to score against, and that is why Liverpool had a tough one with them. Kulusevski, just like Perisic, also came in the second half and only got 1 point. It was a second half cameo, and that's all they got from there. Martinelli, the Arsenal team was playing against Manchester United. It was a tough one. Martinelli scored a goal which was overturned by the VAR. Yeah, so it was a situation where Odegaard kind of nudged into Eriksen before that goal led into uh, the counter which Martinelli scored, and that's why it was overturned by VAR. And this is why we find ourselves didn't get that goal from him, didn't get any points from him, no a clean sheet. So Manchester United went on to score 3 goals against the Arsenal side. Yeah, of course, Arsenal scored one. That was through Saka. So Saka has kind of returned in 2 game weeks in succession. So if he's somebody that you have in your team, hold on to him because he's coming up. Most people are frustrated as to how he started. Martinelli has been the one who's been getting those points, and people with Saka have been thinking they made a bad choice. But look at what has happened in the past few game weeks. In the past 2 game weeks, actually, he's returned and he's there doing the best he could. Now, the forward line was made up of Jesus, Kane, and Haaland. Like I mentioned, Jesus played on that Arsenal team which didn't have so much attacking to do, and that is why he blanked in this one. Then forward, I had Kane, who just came into my team. He replaced the likes of Mbeumo. I should mention to say Mbeumo, the sooner I took him out of my team than he returned. So he got 8 points, but my Kane got 9 points from there. So Kane scored and got the 3 bonus points, and Haaland got the exact same points. But since I captained him, that is how come he managed to save my game week by just leaving me a point away from that average score for the week. Then in my bench, I had Ward over there, my goalkeeper, the second option goalkeeper, who is the lowest priced playing goalkeeper, the only one that you can have in the game. So there's Ward, there's Andreas, there's Zinchenko, and Da Silva. Zinchenko was an unexpected player because I thought he was flagged at 50% chance of playing, and I wasn't expecting him to play. But good thing is he started on his feet, he's back again, and Arsenal looked lively in that match, even though they didn't get so much in the match that they were playing against Manchester United. So in the next one is definitely going to feature. And Da Silva is one of those players that have been underwhelming in the few recent game weeks. So many people brought him into their team thinking it would be one of those sub options that you can easily get into your team when things ain't going well inside there. But Andreas has been the better one at this point because he keeps on getting those assists every now and then. So that is why I brought in somebody who is more or less better than Andreas at this particular time. So now going into the transfers that I've made, these guys have made way for those guys. Yeah, the guys I'm talking about are Robertson, Da Silva, and Kulusevski. Robertson, I mentioned the rotation risk there is trying to share points with Simikasi, who has been good also. So that is why he looks an obvious risk in that defense of mine. He's coming in for Trent, who is more highly owned, and I can't keep on risking those holes that Trent would have in future. It would kill my rank if at all I don't have him and he keeps on getting those massive points. Then Da Silva, like I mentioned, is going out, is giving way for McAllister from Brighton. I should mention that from the time I was making this transfer up until today, the 8th of September 2022, so many things have happened at Chelsea Football Club and at Brighton. Yes, Thomas Tuchel was sacked and he made way for the former Brighton coach, and that is Graham Potter. So Graham Potter is the new Chelsea FC manager, and because of that, I'm trying to figure out what will happen to these Brighton assets. Some people even have 3 of them. So I brought in these guys because of the 2 fixtures, the 2 nice fixtures that they had. The first one being Bournemouth over the weekend, but the next one, I should say, has been cancelled. That is the Crystal Palace one, because of some rail strike that is coinciding with the day that match is going to be on. So if you own any one of these players, please do not panic. Just go easy. If you've got a transfer next week that you can make, just remove one of them. You may have the likes of, say, Andreas on the bench, Neko Williams, who you can bring in to come and cover for that particular game week. Yeah, so we are waiting to see how the Brighton team gets affected by the change in management, in the coaching staff, but I believe it's not going to be the best change because Graham Potter has been brilliant. He's been an awesome coach who has brought in some very lively football at Brighton. Kulusevski, like I mentioned, because of what is happening, the rotation risk, the triangle that they have, him, Song, and Richarlison, it's kind of risky there. Can't keep on having a midfielder player filling that midfield spot, 8 million, but then having the risk of him not playing. So that's why I brought in Anthony. Now a little bit about Anthony. Anthony just came in. He had that debut goal against Arsenal, the first goal actually, and he looks pretty good on the eye test. He may get so many goals or assists from playing on that right side. So Anthony looks very good, I should say, and that's why I had to bring him in ahead of the fixtures. Yeah, so this was my transfer activity going into game week 7. I took the -8, and so this is going to drastically affect my rank because the ranks right now and the points are so tightly packed, and so because I've taken a -8, that is going to have me move probably even to 6 million, but this is just a step back I'm willing to take so that I can make several few steps going forward. Now going into my game week 7 team selection. Yeah, so in goal I go for Rare, playing against Southampton, and again I do not expect a clean sheet from this one. I just expect Rare to have a couple saves so that he can save my game week. Then my defense is made up of Cancelo, Zinchenko, and Trent. Look at that graphic over there. That guy is supposed to be Trent. My apologies, I don't know why I didn't change that. They're supposed to be Trent over there and not Robertson. Then my midfield is made up of Martinelli, Anthony, McAllister, and Diaz. Then forward line, I have Jesus, I have Kane, and Haaland. Jesus and Kane are playing against each other, and that is why I've captained Haaland, because he's able to score against any team right now. He's playing for the best attacking team in the Premier League, and him being one of the best strikers in the Premier League, I can't hesitate but put the captaincy on him, and that's why I've gone for him without hesitation. If he blanks, if he doesn't come in, I've put my vice on Jesus, who are playing Everton there, so I expect some goals from that side, and Jesus might be one of those that would get a goal or assist or something like that, and that's why I have him in there. Then those are my bench options. I've got Ward, I've got Andreas, I've got Williams, and Perisic. Perisic, I have him there because he's a defender playing against Manchester City. Yeah, the best outcome would be them drawing, a goalless draw, or a draw with goals in it. But Manchester City definitely are going to score in this one, so Perisic just has to be the last one there. Neko Williams playing against the leaky Leeds may be able to assist or do something, but I just have to have him there. Andreas, on the other hand, I don't know how Graham Potter is going to immediately impact the Chelsea team, but before that change, I had him there knowing that he may be able to do something with his partner, Mitrovic. Ward playing against Aston Villa, Leicester even been the best in defense, and so he's able to concede. He's there just for backup in case anything happens to Rare in there. So these have been my transfers, or rather my game week thoughts, game week 7 selection, and going into game week 7. I just wish you guys all the best, and please, if you have any thoughts, any questions, leave those thoughts and questions in the comment section. I'll be able to respond to each one of them. So some honorable mentions I would have are the likes of Pope in goal, playing for a rejuvenated Newcastle team. He's doing very good, the highest scoring FPL goalkeeper, and Nick Pope, I would have him in there. I would make a plan for him, and that is why I have to mention. Isak, also from Newcastle, is looking very good. Faces Bournemouth in game week number 8, and so I expect him to score even 2 or more from that match. The likes of Mitrovic, that guy has been scoring points. He's a points magnet. The only match he's blanked in is the match that he failed to score a penalty in the second game week, and that is why he's been getting points week in, week out. Mitrovic is a baller. He's been doing the best, and he scored against Tottenham in the previous match. He may even be able to score against Chelsea. Who knows? Then another honorable mention in the midfield, the attacking player there is Rashford. He was the highest scoring game week player in game week number 6. He scored twice and assisted once. He got 3 bonus points and ended up getting 18 points. So if you're on a budget, if you're not able to get Anthony, you can go for Rashford. Who knows? He may even be able to score more points than Anthony himself. Then in front there, the guy was slightly overshadowed by Rashford was Tony from Brentford. He scored a hat-trick, and like Haaland, he got the 3 bonus points and managed to get a whooping 17 points. So those that had him, kudos to you guys. You kept your faith in him, and you managed to get those solid needed points in this tough, low-scoring game week. So Tony got those points, and he's somebody that I would make a shout. If you don't have him in your teams and you don't have 3 proper attackers or strikers in your team, get Tony. What are you waiting for? His fixtures are going to turn soon in game week 8 going forward. He's got very green fixtures going forward. He's somebody that I would have if Jesus stops performing for any obvious reasons. Yeah, but for now, I keep my front attackers, my front strikers like this. So those are the shouts that I've made. Nick Pope, Newcastle; Isak, Newcastle; Mitrovic, Fulham; Brentford, Anthony; and Rashford from Manchester United. So I wish you all the best, guys, going into game week 7. Let's see what we do and how we do in this one. So thank you so much for watching. Do subscribe, guys. If you've reached this point, do hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and I would really appreciate a like. So if you like to follow me, you can go on Twitter and follow me at FPL Galaxy ZM. Leave me questions there. I'll be able to respond. I'll feature them in the next video. And this is what I had for you guys. Once again, all the best in your game week 7, and let's see how we perform. Catch you on the next one.